Hello, everyone.
Hey, everyone.
Happy Tuesday.
Oh, it is Tuesday night.
Yeah, thanks for
Great.
joining us.
No, it's Wednesday. No, it is
It's
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
I don't know, guys.
It's one of those weeks,
It's one of
right?
those months. Hi, I'm Steph from WDW Magazine.
I'm Danny, also from WDW Magazine. We are super excited to be here tonight. We had the opportunity to sail and visit Disney's brand new island destination, Lighthouse Point. Lookout Key at Lighthouse Point.
It's a mouthful.
You'll all get the hang of it soon enough. We had a great time on the island, and we have so many great stories and pictures and wonderful things that we wanted to share with all of you. So thank you for joining us for this live stream.
And thank you to Disney for hosting us on a preview cruise. Now, this was about a little bit more than a month ago. We were the very first sailing that went to the island. It wasn't just for media. There were also guests there too, but there were lots of media. We have done a bunch of coverage over on our site and on our Instagram and Facebook channels too. So you may have seen some of that already. But Danny and I wanted to come on because we've been getting a lot of questions from our team, from our subscribers about Lookout Key at Lighthouse Point. So we wanted to address those. Let's start with the name because Lookout. Do you want to talk about why it's called Lookout Key at Lighthouse Point?
I already tripped over the name. You've probably tripped over the name. You've heard a lot of people talking about it. So it is called Lookout Key at Lighthouse Point.
Or just Lookout Key for short, just like Castaway Key, Lookout Key. Okay.
We are on the island of Eleuthera. This is in the Bahamas. It's important to note that unlike Castaway Key, this is not an exclusive private island to Disney. The island of Eleuthera is inhabited. There are Bahamians that live there all the time. Disney is a portion of the island where they've set up this new island destination.
I was going to say there's resorts too. There's cruise ports for other cruises, not at Lookout Key at Lighthouse Point, but at other points of the island.
Yeah. So it gets the name. It's not what you think of when somebody says a lighthouse.
It's not like a main lighthouse.
When people say lighthouse, you probably have this mental image of like a red and white, kind of like a tower building with a thing on top. Not exactly that. But historically, there was, I think they call it a light station.
A light station.
Yeah, historically, there was a light station on this point, which was important to help keep ships from wrecking on the shore because there's quite a lot of coral reef in the area as you approach the shoreline. There was actually, don't they call the industry a wrecking industry?
Yes, something.
There was a salvage industry of the ships that were wrecked on the shore, hence the lighthouse, to try and safely guide ships in.
Yes.
So that's a little bit of the history. You can learn more about the history on the island if you want to do some of the tours and excursions.
Yeah, that's true. That is a big difference from Castaway Key. At Castaway Key, you can do like banana boating excursions or like meet some stingrays, that kind of thing from the island itself. But here you can actually do excursions where you go off into other parts of Eleuthera to some of the different coral reefs that surround the island and actually see a little bit more, much the same way that you would in other Caribbean ports like Tortola or St. Thomas. So I found that was really interesting.
It was really interesting. It's a gorgeous island. I mean, I know the question that everybody wants to ask is, do you like Castaway or Lookout better?
And we're going to
get to that in detail. But
we have already had that question submitted. A whole bunch of people submitted questions over on our Facebook and on our YouTube. So if you are watching this live and you have questions, start putting them in because we will be doing a Q&A portion during this.
That's true. That is true.
If you do want to book a cruise, a Disney cruise, any Disney cruise, or specifically a cruise to Lookout Key, I would definitely recommend that you contact our partners over at the Vacationeer. Their services are totally free to you, and they are such experts at all things Disney cruise and, all the Disney vacations, if you want any of those, that they can help you. They'll be a stress-free trip. They'll engineer all the magic.
So we've got some beautiful photos of the island that we want to share. Like Steph said, if you guys have questions that you're thinking of now, start leaving them in the comments. We do have some pre-submitted questions from our subscribers that we're going to start getting to one by one. And we're also going to take you on a little bit of a journey of what it's like when you arrive at this brand new island destination.
Now, we're only showing a few photos tonight. saving the rest of them for going in magazines.
That's right. WDW Magazine is, in fact, a print magazine. Beautiful 64 pages every month of original stories, Disney reporting, stunning photography. This is our July issue, which, for those of you who have already subscribed, if you don't have it in your hands, it's in the mail and will be with you shortly. This will be available for purchase in our shop soon as
No,
a
it
back
is
issue.
now.
It is. It is
Yeah.
available now if you're not a subscriber. And if you get subscribed now, you will receive the August issue as your first issue. We've got great stories coming up about Tiana's Bayou Adventure, about Lookout Key.
Both of our September and November issues are definitely going to have Lookout Key articles in them. That's all I'll tell you because there's more coming next year, but we're still working out all the details on that. But yeah. We have lots of back issues that have lots of Disney Cruise information in them. And as we said earlier, we actually do quite a bit of Disney Cruise content over on our website. So you can check it out at that link on the screen now. So
let's get
on
to the photos.
Great.
So the first thing that you will notice when you approach Lookout is that unlike when you arrive at Castaway, when the ship docks at Castaway, it feels like you're right there, right on top of the action. One of the unique things Disney is doing at Lookout is there's a very concentrated effort to be mindful of the environment and preserve the natural coral reef around the island. So when you dock, you actually dock a ways back from the shore. And so the first views that you see will look something like this.
Yeah, it's pretty far in the distance.
Then there is this now famous bridge that I'm sure you have heard people talk about. I'm sure you've heard a lot of chatter about this, good, bad, exaggerated, some of it honest, some of it true. It is a half-mile walk from the ship to the beginning of your Lookout experience. Now, people say a half mile and they start to get anxious, and I'm sure you've seen a lot of exaggerated takes on this bridge.
It's not quite half of World Showcase
Exactly.
in Epcot.
You need to think about how many steps and the distance that you walk at Disney. People will walk a half a mile between locations at Disney all the time, and nobody bats an eye. I do agree. So remember, Steph and I were there on the very first preview sailing. They have already been making changes based on guest feedback. When we were there, it was just a straight walk down this pier, down this bridge to the shore. The water stations, none of that stuff. Disney is paying attention to guest feedback, and they're plussing things and making things better. Nowadays, when you're walking down, we've been watching other people on YouTube, you'll get cooling stations along the way. There's cast members with cool towels. There's water stations. It's still a half a mile walk.
I honestly think that it looks worse than it is because when you're in the park, if you're in World Showcase, let's say, or this is about the same distance as walking from the Disneyland Hotel to the main gate at Disneyland. There's other stuff around you. There's trees, there's buildings, etc. Here you're like, I'm just looking at one long stretch.
That's what I missed about it. And I mean, so you have gorgeous natural, like look at the color of the water. That turquoise water.
It's a beautiful scene.
Gorgeous, gorgeous. But because of the way the island is set up, and we'll get to the maps and show you the layout soon, you can't see, like, it's very hard to see the actual beachfront and the cabanas and stuff.
But they do play music.
They do. There is
some catchy tunes.
Catchy. The music, actually, that's one of my favorite. I'll say that right now about the island. The background, the ambient music, excellent.
Awesome.
There's like these Bahamian style covers of Disney songs that you know and recognize. There's an original song that they wrote for the island called Everything Cool.
It's a bop.
It's a major earworm. You're definitely you'll be singing it the whole day. Let's keep going on the bridge, shall we?
So now this is a lookout on the Lookout Bridge.
It's important to note that if you or anyone that you're traveling with has mobility issues, there are golf carts and other things available. You can arrange that with
Yeah.
Disney.
Go to guest services when you board the ship, or you can even give them a heads up before you're on board, and they will give you arrangements. Again, this is pretty new for Disney, so I do think that there's not a formal protocol in place because I've heard a lot of different things that they've been trying out with guests. One thing that I've heard is they gather you all in Fathoms or one of the nightclubs, depending on the ship that you're on, have you wait there, and then they call you out kind of one party at a time. There are wagons now for if you have kids, lots of beach gear and stuff, so that the little ones don't get so tired by the time you get to the other side, and then they're too tired for the beach. So there are a lot of options, but like bring your hats, be sunscreened up already, bring your water, be prepared for this. It takes 10-15 minutes depending on how fast you're walking.
Yeah.
But I wanted to show you this because I wanted you to see how wide or narrow, depending on your philosophical bend, it is, because a lot of people have been saying, well, like, why aren't they just driving cars up to pick you up? This is like a very skinny 2-lane road.
It's too narrow for like the trams that they use to transport you around the
Mhm.
island. There are some small vehicles like golf carts and stuff, and they do offload some supplies from the ship. But it's not like they couldn't run like transportation buses or
Mhm.
anything.
But then eventually you're on the other side and you have these gorgeous views of the ship.
So you guys know WDW Magazine, we are known for our stunning, beautiful photography of all things Disney. And this is a really special vantage point that you get because of the way you approach the island, because of
Mhm.
this walk. Because this is a private island destination for Disney, there's no other cruise ships docked here. It's just your ship. And you get these incredible bow to stern photos that you really can't get at many other ports. Um, we sailed on the Disney Magic. So here she is, looking beautiful in dock. You know, for a 25-year-old ship,
26 now.
26-year-old ship, she is an
She looks
excellent.
better than I did at 26. I just want to take a second to say hi to Barbara and Parks with the Pridgeons who are watching us live. I'm sure there are a bunch of you out there too, but I don't know, so you could have commented because of how we see all the information coming in. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining us live. Now back to this.
So you've made your way down the pier. You are now at Lookout. Your first stop is Mabrika Cove.
Mhm. Now, and that's where you're going to get the tram to take you to the rest of the island. What do you mean the rest of Disney's portion of the island? Let's take a look
Let's
at
take
this
a
map.
look at the map. So you can see in the bottom corner, maybe you can move your, yeah.
Mhm.
So this is where we have arrived. We have gotten off the bridge. We have found this is where you would check in if you're doing any of the boat excursions.
Mhm.
There's a little gift shop here. There's a little coffee stand.
And then also the family cabanas are right here. And then this right here is where you would get the tram. So unless you are just hopping on a boat excursion or going to the family cabanas, your journey to get to the beach is not yet done. I just want to zoom in on this. So this is the pier, the bridge, whatever we're going to call it. Here's where you get the trams, and right over here are the family cabanas, which have a lovely beach, and you get those nice Disney cruise ship views in the background. But what most people are going to experience is this portion of the island. So remember, we were over here, we were over here. We have to travel all the way across this little.
About
It's not a
10 minutes.
peninsula, but yeah, it takes about 10 minutes, and then you're over on this other part of the island. Now, zooming in, we're going to zoom in even further. Don't worry. This yellow portion down here is a nature trail, so that's awesome. You should definitely check it out, but it's not where action is per
No.
se.
If you want to learn more about the wildlife and the plants, and if you want to see the lighthouse,
Mhm.
all of that is accessible to you on the nature trail. It's self-guided. Go at your own pace.
Now, this is a close-up of where most people are going to spend most of their time on Lookout Key. So it's the beach down here in the hashed striped area. That's where you are allowed to swim. You'll see that there is sand. You'll see some greenery here. That's because there's actually a sand dune. We'll show you a picture of this so you can really picture it in a minute. And then back here is more sand where there's tons and tons of lounge
So many
chairs.
lounge chairs.
Over here is Serenity Bay and the Serenity Bay barbecue. This section here is one of the two barbecue and shaded dining areas of True Barbecue and True Barbecue. If you're familiar with Castaway Cay, this would be the same as like cookies and cookies too.
Slightly different menus,
Yep.
but there is some overlap.
Yep. This beautiful building here is the Bay Cultural Center, which is where they do activities during the day, and also Rush, the Jumping Celebration, which is an amazing show you have to see. And then over at this end is where the Play Pavilion is. This is where family-friendly games with characters happen, like the Fun in the Sun Beach Bash. And back here, this is Sebastian's Cove. That is where little ones go if you're dropping them off at the kids' club. So that'll kind of give you your bearings. This Welcome Plaza here, the Goombay Plaza, cultural centers here, and then the shops and bike rentals and all that kind of stuff are up there. And this little one down here is for snorkel rentals. So yes, let's take a look though, because there's a really unique feature.
The island looks very different from Castaway. Like we mentioned at the top, there's a very concerted effort going on to be mindful of the local environment, to be conservation-minded, and to not interfere as much as possible with the natural flora and fauna. So a lot of the island is accessed through these raised boardwalks. These are actually really beautiful for a couple of reasons. One, I don't know about you guys, but sometimes like trekking through the sand.
So sandy, so hot.
It's hot. Also, it's hard. You're kind of slipping in the sand. You're carrying all. You can just scroll these boardwalks. It's great. Two, I don't know if we have a photo that shows this, but yeah, from the boardwalks, because they're elevated, you always get these picture-perfect views of the water. Everywhere you look, you turn over, you look, no matter where you're walking on the island, it's just turquoise water for days.
Just beautiful.
The buildings all have these really interesting natural forms. We had the opportunity to speak with some of the Imagineering team responsible for the design on the island, and they told us about how they've taken a lot of inspiration from the natural environment, things like tortoise shells, the shape of the plant leaves, all that sort of stuff.
Now, we are going to be we talked about this a little bit online, and we are going to be talking about it maybe a little bit more in WDW Magazine. But I want to take a moment to let you guys all know that we're actually working on DCL Magazine in print, hoping to debut it next year.
Currently, we publish WDW Magazine every month. DLR Magazine, our Disneyland-focused edition, comes out 4 times a year. We are hoping with enough support that we will be adding DCL Magazine to that lineup.
Yes. So we are saving some of these cool Imagineer interviews for those first few issues of DCL Magazine. Now, how can you find out more information about this? I have a link on the screen for you right now. If you go there, you put your email down. There's no money commitment at this time. It's just saying, yes, I'd like to have more information. Every month, every 6 weeks, we send out an email just to let you know how our progress is going, maybe show you some samples of layouts and things that we're working on, get your feedback on them so we make a product that is perfect for all you Disney Cruise fans. And then eventually when we do go on sale, you're going to get first access and the very best price that we offer. So that's just a little something I wanted to mention. But let's go back to the boardwalks.
Back to the boardwalks. I love the boardwalks. They're gorgeous. Great sight lines, beautiful photos. I like being up out of the sand. I find it easier to navigate. The boardwalks are great. They are also accessible, which is nice. The island in general is pretty accessible.
Including accessibility that will get you down to the beach, down to the waterfront. But like, even look here, you can go along and then you can go this way to go to the barbecue, this way to go to the bathroom or whatever's in that direction. I don't know from back here, but it's just so easy to get around, so clearly marked.
Yeah.
Now, why?
Why all the boardwalks, you might be asking? Well,
this little cutie.
This cutie. So this is one of the local crabs. We actually saw this guy on that main bridge from the ship. They're not going to bother you while you're on the island. but we want to keep their habitat nice and peaceful.
Disney's actually identified 5 of the local. I mean, there are many different fish and other things that live in the
But
marine
5 key
environment too.
species.
5 key species that you can actually see along the nature trail. But they've made them into these cute little characters, like this conch shell right here. Or
They're
this
almost
conch, I guess it's not just the shell.
they're almost mascots
Yeah.
for the destination.
And crab and Lizzie the lizard, they're so cute. So you'll see these little statues at the Brika Cove to greet you. These ones are actually all around Gush Out, which is a water play area. You'll see them on the nature trail too, and hopefully some of their IRL
Yes,
counterparts.
you can learn more about them on the tram ride between the destination, and then of course on the nature trail. Lots of great info there.
Something that I'm really looking forward to when we were there. Okay, so because we were there the very first day, we had shortened hours, but we also, as media, we had a bunch of interviews and things that we were doing. So we did not have time to actually walk the nature trail ourselves. But I cannot wait to do that next time we're there and we go back. Also, the bikes, I don't think they were not available for us, and I don't think they're available quite yet, but I'm really looking forward to biking around in the nature trail.
Definitely.
I love the
Biking
on
on
Castaway.
Castaway is one of our favorites. Can't wait to do it on the island. So speaking of Castaway, like we mentioned, the barbecue, the food setup is very similar. On Castaway, you're used to it being called Cookies and Cookies 2. On Lookout, it's called True Barbecue and True Barbecue 2.
And Serenity Bay Barbecue if you're over 18 and over on that part of the beach.
So this is True. You can see the way it's set up. Each of the different windows has slightly different food options. So like the burgers are at one window. There were some Bahamian specialties at another. Like I say, the menu is similar to what you're used to on Castaway, but there are some new dishes and there are some.
I know we have a pre-submitted question about this that we can answer
great.
in a little bit. But unless you want to stop and do some questions right now. We're almost done with the photos, and then we'll have a little question break.
Okay.
Or
if there's a food question,
go find it. Hold on just a minute. There are a whole bunch. I have to go look through them. How was the food? What did you like? I guess that was okay. So in all fairness, we had about 6 minutes in between our interview schedule, and it was 105 degrees that we were there. And being Canadian, we're not used to the heat, so we weren't actually very hungry. We did get a few things to have a tiny little taste, so we need to do more research.
Yes, here are some of my initial thoughts on the food, though. All the stuff that you're used to seeing at Castaway, the burgers and the sides, it's all there. It's the same. If you like it on Castaway, you'll like it on Lookout. One thing that stood out to me, I had a fried chicken sandwich that was built as a spicy chicken sandwich, and it was spicy.
Like about as spicy as the Wendy's one.
I'm just often Disney says things are spicy.
No, I love that. I would love if we could get that counter service, quick service at Walt Disney World.
Sure. I'm just saying, sometimes there's Disney spicy. This was actually spicy.
It was good. It packed some heat. And also, is there alcohol available for purchase?
Oh,
yes. Not at True Barbecue, but there are, I want to say 6. There might be more than 6 or so bars. They all have the exact same menu. So if you go to one or the other, it's not like you have to go there for the margarita, there for the pina colada. They have a standard menu, but there are bars dotting all along the beach where you can get alcoholic beverages and also non-alcoholic beverages, including some that they have made just.
Yeah, there's a couple signature
like a
Lookout.
Boozy Dole Whip situation. Very good.
So this is a look at True. There is a lot of seating you can see in the next picture, shaded seating very close by to eateries.
And I know you did talk about how the design is based off of the shellfish that line the island. But underneath is where the Bahamian artists, Disney was really, really concerned with making sure that Bahamian culture really came through here at Lookout Key. And so they worked with Bahamian musicians, Bahamian artists, all sorts of people, Bahamian conservation specialists to make sure that they were bringing that in. And I adore the artwork under.
It's really beautiful. There's a lot of unique textures and design elements. What's cool about this island on Castaway Key is this magic, make-believe fantasy land where we're all castaways and having a beach day. But Lookout is a real place. It's, people live here. There's history and culture and art, and
Mhm.
it's honestly, it's quite special.
You know what? Like, I just thought of this now, but for me, going to Castaway is kind of like when you go to the Magic Kingdom. You pretend you're a princess, or you go to Hollywood Studios and you pretend you're a Jedi, right? I know it's still pretend because you're not actually there, but when you go to Epcot, you're interacting with French cast members and listening to the Japanese drummers and all of those things. When you go to Animal Kingdom and you see like the thatched roofs and in Africa and all of those like real life places brought to life at Disney, that is a lot what Lookout Key feels like to
It's an extension of the storytelling that Disney is so known
me. Best artwork underneath is reserved for the
The
Goombay
Goombay
Cultural
Cultural
Center.
Center.
Oh my gosh, it's so beautiful.
This is it's I don't know, you could say it's the central point on the island. A lot of activities, a lot of entertainment happens at the Goombay Cultural
There's even a
Center.
little hidden Mickey.
There is a hidden Mickey. That was the only hidden Mickey I spotted on the island, but if you guys get the chance to sail there, please let us know other ones you see.
There's this
The
beautiful proscenium.
Yeah, the sort of flagship show, or at least what I thought was the flagship of the live entertainment, is the Junkanoo Rush Out.
Yeah, Rush, a
Rush a
Junkanoo
Junkanoo
celebration.
celebration.
Yeah. It is gorgeous. So I want to say the characters are there, and they're there in some like beautiful Bahamian Junkanoo inspired outfits, but characters are really participating in the show the way that the audience is participating in the show, which is done by local performers and is just incredible. Like these costumes.
All of the costumes are handmade. If you want to learn more about Junkanoo, the history, the culture, the style of it, they have activities on the island where you can participate and make some of your own costume pieces and learn about it. But this show, like, if you watch this show and you are not dancing by the end,
You
I
might be
don't,
dead
yeah, I
inside.
don't know what to tell you. Like, if
You can hear it from all
Yeah.
over. People like flock towards the stage. It's such a cool
it was
moment.
it was great. We were there front and center because we had to, get photos and get videos and stuff. But once the music kicks on and there's these drums and these horns and these whistles, like you could see people, everybody's like peeking up from their beach chairs and like looking around, what's happening, and then everybody comes to
Yeah.
the stage and like it was a party.
It's really, really cool. I do want to talk about the character costumes for a minute. So this was a separate for the media back on the ship. They actually had Mickey and Minnie come out to meet us. Oh, and we have the little stuffed animals of them too. So Mickey, Minnie, but also Donald, Daisy, Chip and Dale, and Goofy and Pluto all have brand new costumes, and you can meet them all. They all have brand new costumes for Lookout Key, and they were designed by celebrity Bahamian fashion designer Theodore Elliott. He also designed the line of merch,
Steph's
including these
very-
beautiful ears. He is extremely talented. His Instagram is great too, if you want to go follow along there. But it was the first time that they've actually had a celebrity designer do all 8 of the Mickey and Friends characters, and there are so many hidden details in here about Junkanoo culture, Bahamian culture. Like this pineapple is really important to Eleuthera because they actually used to export more pineapples than Hawaii. And like Mickey has straw shoes and a straw visor because the straw industry is really important there. The polka dots on Minnie are also made of straw. Uh, Very, very cool, clever details. Anyway, something else
Junkanoo
that's
inspired.
inspired by Junkanoo
And
is
also just super fun is this splash zone. I don't know if this exclusively for kids. I feel like
no,
I
no,
saw
no. It
parents.
was like it's
It's for
like
the
a
whole
family
family.
splash
Yeah.
zone, which is really cool.
Yeah,
Um,
it's awesome. It's got slides and
It's called
fountains.
Rush Out, Dash Out.
Rush out, rush out. It was great. Like beautiful. It's colorful. It's vibrant.
I think it's also really nice if you maybe don't want to get super sandy, or especially if you like right before lunch or something, maybe you don't want to clean the kids up quite that much if it's really hard to get down to the beach because of accessibility. Even though you can have accessible access, sand is really hard for wheelchairs, people with mobility issues. Also, if you have little ones and you're afraid of them in the ocean, this is a way that they can get their splashies on without you having to worry about the waves. Although the water, at least the day that we were there, was super calm.
So let's talk about the water and the beach.
Gosh, guys, the beach,
Here's the thing.
water.
If you've sailed to Castaway, you've probably been, you've been on the beach, you've been in the water, and you think, this is perfect. This is the white sand and the turquoise waves, and like, couldn't get any nicer.
I love the beach on Castaway. It turned you into a beach person.
It did. I didn't used to like beach vacations. We went to Castaway. I found a spot in the hammock. I was hooked. But so here's the thing. I used to go to Castaway, and I used to think, this is the picture perfect white sand, turquoise water. How could it get any nicer? It is nicer at lookout.
It is so clear. When we were snorkeling, I couldn't tell if we were a foot above the bottom or 20 feet above the bottom because there's nothing floating in the water. There's no rocks, there's no shells unless you swim out to where the coral are, and then obviously you're seeing coral. It is so crystal clear. I have never seen water like that.
And the sand is like powdery velvet soft.
Almost like cornstarch.
So okay, so here's a look at the beach. This is a little bit later in the day. People have been moving chairs around and doing their thing on the beach. Here's an example of the way the island is structured. So on the right-hand side here, you're seeing there are tons, rows and rows and rows.
So many chairs.
Of loungers and umbrellas, it's all there. And then there's this sort of sand dune, sand berm.
It's hard to tell here, but think about this. It's not quite like a floor up. It's half a floor up, let's say. But it's a staircase up.
A few steps to get to the water and where you go swim.
And they have ramps and like accessible ramps and staircases all along over this kind of like green space situation. Why did they not just kind of level everything out? We're back to our little critter friends. We need to be conservation minded and protect them. I think the crabs and some of the birds and things like nest in here. So we didn't want to interrupt this natural environment, which is why we just have a little ramp down to the beach.
Again, for those of you who want to take that perfect Instagram photo, when you're on this upper part, you're just going to be seeing perfect turquoise water as far as the eye can see. Get your poses in, get your selfies, get your family pictures. They're going to turn out gorgeous. Here's something that I want to point out. I'm hearing people complaining that there aren't enough chairs.
It is a literal sea.
It is an ocean of chairs. Now, I will say, in fairness, let's go back up here.
Not very many on the beach.
Not very many immediately at the water. The majority of the chairs, you got to go up a step or two. You got to go back. But you will have no problem finding a chair, umbrella, spreading out, lounging, chilling. No problem at all. If you have your heart set on having a chair front row center by the beach,
get off the ship as quick as you can and hightail it over there.
Yeah.
But yes, so many things. And then, of course, before you leave, or as soon as you arrive, you can exit through the gift shop. There are
two main gift shops.
Plus a little gift kiosk.
Yeah. The Disney-themed store is called Disney Kings. There is a mix of sort of Junkanoo-inspired Disney-ified merchandise.
And beachy stuff for lookout that's more similar to what you might find at the shops in Castaway Key. But the hidden gem is Treasures of Eleuthera.
Treasures of Eleuthera. So this is all locally sourced, artisan, handicrafts, things from the island, from local creators. There's a mix of, there's art, there's jewelry.
There's coffee.
Yes, they roast their own coffee beans on the island if you want to bring home a caffeinated souvenir.
And this, I think this is my favorite. I didn't buy one because I couldn't decide, but
we saw a lot of people. So like Steph mentioned, there's a whole straw industry and these sort of woven straw baskets and purses and stuff. They're very popular, very common. They have, of course, like sort of traditional like beach designs with conch shells and flip-flops and waves and stuff, but they also have some really adorable Disney designs.
Yeah.
Saw a lot of people coming back to the ship with these.
I only have like 3 minutes here, and next time we go and I have many more minutes, I will be picking and choosing, and maybe also picking up some Christmas things because they are so cute, so cute. Oh, something that I did want to mention is the cabana situation. So we got to tour one of the Serenity Bay cabanas. I'll show you here. So this is actually on the deck. You can see that you get beautiful ocean views, nice comfy chairs on a raised deck, you have a personal shower that you can use. It's an outdoor shower, not an indoor shower. And oh, I got these a little bit out of order. And this is what the Serenity Bay cabins look like from the outside.
There's a couple different sizes of cabins depending on the size of your party. Some have slightly larger outdoor spaces.
So cabanas are available. They just like on Castaway, they go first to concierge, then to Pearl, then to Platinum, etc. So you may have a hard time getting one. You don't need one to enjoy the island, but if you are going for a big family celebration, it's always nice to have one. There are also family cabanas. This is what they look like from where you would approach, and then this is how they look if you're looking from where you get off the bridge and get into the almost Paprika Cove area.
I love all the colors. The design work on the island is really, really beautiful. It's so vibrant. It's so rich. The patterns, the textures, the colors. It's really special.
Yeah. So that
Q&A time.
It is Q&A time. Oh boy, let's go back. Let's go back to there. Okay, so
while Steph gets the cues ready, I just want to take a second and show off. These were gifted to us by Disney, but these are the outfits from Mickey and Minnie. They are super
Disney,
cute.
if you're listening to this, please make the Donald and Daisy one. I love the Daisy outfit so much.
These are
I love these ones too.
The straw slippers that we were talking about, the visor. They're really cute.
His shorts have shells on them.
Yeah, they're really great outfits. I've already seen people Disney bounding these when they go to the island, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Love to see it. It's really great.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to start with questions that are being submitted live in YouTube right now. So if you are here and watching and you have questions, put them in. We're going to get back to them. We're going to answer a few, and then we're going to go to the pre-submitted questions, and we'll come back and see if there's any more. Tatiana asks the question on everyone's minds: Castaway or Lookout? Which do you pick?
Okay. Either of these destinations are more or less the only destinations I want to cruise to. I'm not super interested in going to Nassau or
We've been to St. Thomas and places like that. It's fine.
When I get on a Disney cruise ship, I want to be going to Castaway, or I want to be going to Lookout, or I want to have a day at sea because I love just spending time on the ship. Right now, I think Castaway still has my heart. Lookout is great. There's so many things about the island to love. It's brand new. There are some things that they got to figure out. It's got to mature. It's like all the Disney parks. We talk about how they continue to grow and evolve, and they get better over time.
I think that's true of us though too, because I feel like, other than Tokyo Disney Sea, the very first time we set foot in a park, we were never like, this is my number one favorite park. Like when I first started going to Walt Disney World, Magic Kingdom was my favorite. But now, as I've matured, Animal Kingdom is my favorite, right? And I think that's going to be true
I'm just
here too.
You have the Castaway.
You have the nostalgia.
I do.
Castaway.
That's true. My first ever Disney cruise, the first place we went was Castaway. So maybe that's coloring my, Castaway does have hammocks. I did not, at least on our first sailing, see any hammocks on Lookout.
Maybe they'll add some. For me, if I have to pick right now, I'm going to say Castaway too, but with the lens of knowing that I think it is heavily weighed by nostalgia, and it's a pretty close race. The biggest issue for me about Lookout is actually how long it takes you to get on and off the ship. And that's an easy fix, not by like magically disappearing the bridge and the tram and all of that.
No,
if
changing the length of your port
yeah,
visit.
if Disney could dock an hour earlier or undock an hour later or something like that, that would give you enough like, that would give you enough
Yes.
I mean, of course, on Castaway, I always wanna just stay there forever too, but for me, that is a big chunk of your day, and that's not exclusive to Lookout Key, like, I remember when we went to St. Thomas, we went snorkeling, it was like
We
an
were in a
hour
rush,
it was like
like
an hour to get off the ship and onto the snorkel boat that was literally beside the ship, like, we didn't even walk half a mile to get to that, but it took so long to wrangle everybody there, and same thing coming back, and I was like, "I could be drinking iced coffee at Cove Cafe right now. What am I doing?"
you know,
So
so, like, here's the thing, we could go point by point,
mm,
like,
but
when it comes to, like, natural beauty, I might give the edge to Lookout over Castaway. When it comes to
entertainment lookout for sure.
that's true, the music and the live entertainment are excellent.
I
If
more research is
more research is
let us
needed.
go back to Castaway 1 or 2 or Lookout 1 or 2 more times, and then we will for sure answer that. But I don't think you could go wrong with either of them. Another live question, what kinds of excursions are there on the island? Well, there's teeny tiny little excursions, like you can book a bike rental or a snorkel gear package that you can go pick up. You can book those in advance, or you can book them when you get to the island, assuming that they're still available. There are also you can read about these all on the Disney Cruise Line website. But they have a whole bunch of things like ecological tours. They have boat tours that take you to different reefs around the island. I think they actually have a cultural excursion too, where they take you. I don't know if it's a bus or a truck or something like that. Bring in a vehicle and they move you to other places, take you to see some cultural sites, eat at local restaurants, that kind of thing. So there are quite a few really unique things. And unlike somewhere like Nassau or even like or ports in Aruba and Jamaica, all of those places, everywhere the Beach Boys sing about. Those are much more touristed islands. There is some tourism industry on Eleuthera, but it's much more like conservation and ecologically minded tourism. I think that Eleuthera is a little bit more like Kauai, in Hawaii rather than Oahu in Hawaii, if you want to think about it that way. It's more natural, less disturbed. There's less tourism as opposed to Nassau and Oahu, where you're going to get Starbucks and like Ritz Carltons and all that kind of stuff. As soon as you get off the ship, Senior Frogs. It is a very different vibe. It's more like more rustic. So that's really interesting.
Next question we have is a question about accessibility. How hard would it be to get around the island on a scooter?
I think actually it would be easier than on Castaway.
We
Right,
don't have firsthand experience with this, but I
and
certainly think the boardwalk system is a lot more scooter and ECB friendly.
mhm, yeah, they
Um,
do have beach wheelchairs with the special wheels. I wouldn't necessarily take a scooter all the way down the ramp into the sand because it might, unless you have experience with that, your own
yeah,
scooter and you know what you're doing. But that
they
that part might be
definitely
a little challenging.
they definitely have accessibility in mind with the design of the island, both the boardwalks, accessible access to the beach areas, but even the nature trail
Has
has
yeah.
accessible pathways.
And it's all like there's not a lot of like ups and downs.
Mhm.
It's all relatively flat, so I think that that would be um, like fairly easy to do.
Yeah,
I do think one of the very easiest things you could do is if you could afford it and you were able to secure one, but an accessible cabana would make life really easy because you could just drive the ECV up into the cabana, still get all those views, only have a few steps down to the beach if that's something that you were interested in participating in. But that would be like the primo experience if you have mobility issues. So we have many more pre-submitted questions. Just give me one second. Okay. What activities are offered outside of relaxing on the beach? So many, so many more than Castaway.
So, if you have little ones with you, there are great activities where you can play games and interact with the Disney characters.
So the Fun in the Sun Beach Bash is really great. The whole family can get involved, but basically it happens a few times a day at the play place. And you go, they have all these great Disney songs from like Teen Beach movie, from Rescue Rangers, from the Goofy movie, and they have rewritten them in a Bahamian style. So first you learn dance moves. There's like a water balloon. It's not like a water balloon throwing. It's like a
No.
water fill up activity.
Yeah, I don't remember all the games. I think there was like a
There's
limbo. There,
limbo.
but the Disney
Oh,
characters,
pineapple toss.
the characters are there with you playing the games. It's
Goofy,
really
Pluto,
fun.
Chip and Dale, and the music is
So
fantastic.
there's that. There is snorkeling. There will be bike rentals, not available yet, but coming soon.
I believe they're also like you can play in the sand on the beach like you can at Castaway, but I believe they're also building big like sand sculptures on the
That's
beach.
cool.
I'm not sure if that started yet. I didn't see it the day that we were there, but we literally had 10 minutes on the beach. So that don't take that as the final word. But I know that one of the activities they're planning is having like sand sculptures on the beach, and then they get like washed away every night.
There's arts and crafts if you want to learn more about the Junkanoo and make some of your own Junkanoo costume items.
Junkanoo Russia.
Yep, there's the nature trails to explore. There's a self-guided, you use your smartphone, and there's like QR codes along the nature trail. It's sort of like a not a scavenger
I think it's called the Discovery Trail
discovery
or
trail.
something.
But yeah, there's tons to do.
There's also like live musicians. So if you want to just go like have a drinky poo and sit at one of the bars and listen to a live musician, like that's a thing to do. So check your personal navigator because they will list all of those activities in there. They change just like at Castaway Key. Sometimes there's yoga, sometimes there's not. So they will list whatever's happening on the actual day that you're there.
Any tips or tricks for staying cool on the bridge?
So many. So
the most important one is wear a hat.
The biggest hat you can find, something that reflects sun, hopefully something that has like UV
protection
in it. Even if you're not going to wear, I always wear rash guard on the beach because I'm so pale, I burn so quickly. But even if you're not gonna wear like rash guard, you might consider something with protection like that, the UPF protection for that walk across the beach, or bring a lightweight wrap or something that you could wrap around yourself if you have a lot of exposed skin.
One of the best tips, because I know some people are like, we'll get off the beach or we'll get off the boat, we'll go straight to the beach and then we'll sunscreen up.
Sunscreen in your room.
Sunscreen up before you get off the ship.
Especially hats for everybody, but especially if you don't have a lot of hair. I saw a lot of people like literally covering their head with their hand because they didn't realize they were going to need a hat, which you should always have a hat at the beach. Sunglasses for sure. If you have one of those cooling fans that you wear around your neck in the park, or one of the ones that you like, hold up like on a popsicle stick kind of thing in the park, bring that. If you have like, what do you bring on a really hot day at Disneyland or Disney World? Bring all of that.
We're also not trying to scare people about this bridge. Like,
No.
yeah, it's hot, but you're at the beach in the Bahamas. Of course it's hot.
That's what you want it to be. If it was snowing, you'd be very upset.
Yeah.
But yeah, especially if you're not very sensitive to heat, if you're from the South, if you're used to this, it might not be such a big deal. Again, Canadians, we're very sensitive to it. If you have little ones, etc., make sure that bring water for everybody. I heard some people are bringing those like cooling towel neckerchiefs that you like soak
Disney's
in the water.
been handing out those.
The cool towels, but you know what I mean, like
I know
those
the ones you're talking
hydrated.
about.
If you have those cool towels that you soak and then you like snap and they get icy, you can bring one of those too. You don't have to bring all 20 of these things. Pick 2 or 3 that are going to help your family.
I think if you have a hat and a water bottle and a pair of sunglasses, you're going to be doing just fine.
Yeah. Okay. This is a complicated one. On Castaway Key, you're on a complete island owned by Disney. That's true. I heard Lookout Key is part of a bigger island. How does that affect the experience? Are there other cruise ships nearby? Is one bigger than the other? And does one offer more to do? So we did already touch on how does that affect the experience. You're right. It is part of a much bigger island. In terms of how it, like, It's not that different of an experience because when you get there, it's not like you're porting into
No.
a commercial port with other things. It's all a Disney private area.
Yeah.
So that part is actually quite similar. We did not see any other cruise ships. Maybe when you're sailing away from the island, you might see them. Princess, I know, and maybe some others. They do have some of their own ports up the other side of the island, but not at Lookout Key at
No,
Lighthouse Point.
the docking point is exclusively for Disney
Yeah.
ships.
And in terms of is one bigger than the other and does one offer more to do, I would have to get like the square
I don't know
footage
that
to
Disney
tell
has
you.
published the
I don't
square
I
footage.
don't think that Disney has.
Anecdotally,
It feels about this. Like
honestly, it might even feel bigger, but that's partially because like there's the first part where you get off and get the tram, and then you take the tram over to the rest of the island.
yeah, like more research needed. It doesn't
Comparable.
comparable. Maybe it's a little bit bigger. Maybe it's a little bit smaller. But the guest facing areas are pretty similar.
And does one island offer more to do than the other? It's kind of subjective. They offer different activities. Again, like there's overlap, but it's not a complete.
If I had to say, I think Lookout actually offers more because they do have more excursions and they have entertainment offerings that are not on Castaway. Whereas, like, they don't have the Stingray experience the way that they do on Castaway, and they don't have as many of the like
You can't.
pedal boats
Yeah,
and supboards
jet
and stuff.
skis and stuff.
So, depending on if you are thinking of a big excursion or like a little more personal excursion, that that kind of impacts things. But there are definitely more structured activities, craft time and things like that on Lookout.
That's a good one that I want to answer. The question is, are there any shells or corals on the beach, or is it pure white sand? This person is a shell collector.
It's pretty pure white sand. I'm sure you can find some shells or corals, but I would caution you against bringing them unless you have checked the with Disney Cruise Line and also with the Bahamian government. I know from our own personal travels, in a lot of cases, beaches encourage you not to touch. I know that there are beaches that are like, yeah, take all the shells, who cares? There are a lot of beaches, especially conservation-minded ones, that are like, don't only take memories, only footprints, that kind of idea. So you do go through security when you get on and off the ship, and they will scan all your stuff. So if you get some shells and some corals, and you're not supposed to have them, they're going to make you put them back.
Also, in our time on the island, I found the sand to be just perfectly pure, soft sand. I didn't see any shells, coral. I didn't see a single one, even if I wanted to take.
Yeah.
Your mileage may vary. The beach is there's a lot of beach you can explore.
If you only had 4 hours on the island, what would you prioritize first? Well, we're going to answer this for us since you asked us what we would prioritize, but it might be different for you. Like, I'm not going to prioritize rush out, gush out because we're not traveling with little kids, for instance. I am going to prioritize getting one of the specialty coffees at Mangroves and Go because I love my coffee. So I would get off the pier, grab a coffee, get on the tram. Then I would probably head straight to snorkel. And then you dry off a little bit, do rush a Junkanoo celebration.
Yeah.
Then I would probably go swim around some more, go on a bike. And if I had any more time, another little dip, and then I'd head back to the ship. Yes, I didn't say eat in there because if I was only off the ship for 4 hours, there is so much food on the ship. I personally would not prioritize that when I can't go in the ocean.
4 hours is a short stint on the island.
What would you do if you had only four hours on the island?
So I would definitely prioritize getting in the water because the water is just so perfect. I would prioritize doing Rush, the Junkanoo show, because it is amazing. Maybe riding a bike. There's a lot, like you can cover a lot of ground, see a lot of the nature trail. That would be really good. Yeah, I think those would be my priorities.
So same thing. Get in the water, snorkel or bike,
See the show,
see the show, get a coffee.
maybe meet a character
Yeah.
because like the outfits are really
Yeah.
cool and I like
If
meeting
it's not a super
characters.
long wait.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, I love how Castaway Key has a kids section, so me and my husband can get some quieter beach time. Yeah, that's very nice. Does Lookout Key offer something like that too? They do, in fact. It's
Sure
called
does.
Sebastian's Cove. It's right behind the Play Pavilion, also, so you can go drop the kiddos off there. It's all secure. They sign them in, etc. Do activities with them. Um, and we did not get a chance to tour that as part of our media preview. I'm not sure if it was fully operating or not the very first day that we were there, but I have seen other people have been signing their kids in and out. I'm in all the Disney Cruise Facebook groups, and they seem to be enjoying it.
Mhm.
So,
Also, for anyone traveling without kids and who would like a more grown-up experience, there is, of course, the Serenity Bay portion of the island, which is 18 plus. If you want, if you don't want kids running around,
splashing you in the water or whatever. I don't mind that. We usually head to the family beach because it's a little livelier. How was the bridge walk from the ship? My mom has a bad knee, and I'm concerned she'll have a hard time walking that distance. So for us, we're pretty able-bodied. It was not difficult, other than the fact that it was a little bit toasty.
mhm,
So, like we said, hats and sunscreen. But if your mom has a bad knee, definitely go talk to guest services
mhm.
and ask them for a specific transport. That will not be a problem.
Yeah,
They will get you.
there
They
is
will get you there
Yeah,
safely.
there's
No
assistance
worries.
available. It's worth noting that it is perfectly flat.
Mhm.
Like, the terrain is flat and easy, no stairs, no ramps, nothing like that, so if that's a
Yeah.
consideration.
If she really wanted to try walking it, I would say walk back because
Mm,
you won't get you if you get tired on the way there, you're kind of
starting the day
stuck.
off on the wrong foot and yeah.
But the even when we were coming back, we actually just had, like, golf carts waiting as they felt like they were taking people back to the ship, whether you needed an accessibility thing or not. So, I'm again, it's new, it's testing. I'm not sure if that will be the case all the time, but just easily ask for, assisted transport and not a big deal. They'll take care of you easy.
We've got a question about snorkel gear. So, yes,
Mm.
you can rent snorkel gear on the island. The pricing, I believe, is the same as Castaway, very
Very
similar. It is worth noting, different than Castaway Key. So on Castaway, in the designated snorkel zone, Disney has sunk in artifacts and treasures
Mhm.
and things to see.
This is all
This
natural.
is all natural. So you will see, we saw some fishes. There's a little bit of coral,
Yeah.
but like there's no hidden Mickeys under the water. There's no
I also want to say this beach is very long and the swimmable part is very narrow. At Castaway, you can actually swim out pretty far, right? Here, there are buoys and ropes. Like, it's more than 20 feet, but I don't know what it is. It's not that far from where the sand actually is. So that's actually really nice because if you're not that strong of a swimmer or if you're out there with your kids, you're not like I know the first time we went snorkeling at Castaway, we got so far out and then we're like, oh my gosh, we have to swim way back. We're so tired. You're not going to get tired because you're not going to be that far away.
if you have your own snorkel gear, you can bring that with you. However, you are going to need to get one of the high visibility vests. All the snorkelers in the water need to wear these high vis. That's a safety thing, so the lifeguards.
You do need to wear the Disney ones because they are trained to look for the specific Disney color. We have our own high visibility vests that are different colors, and we're not going to wear those. So there you go.
Is there
And
alcohol available for purchase?
we did
There
answer that.
sure
Oh,
is.
the last question is what was your part?
For me, I think it was the television.
Mm,
It was just great. It was electric. Like, I loved the live performers, costumes, the music. Like, I was dancing and popping, and like I had a great time.
I'm gonna say the beach because that sand and that water is the stuff that dreams are
If you think like postcard views, perfect teal water, white sand, it looks photoshopped. Like it looks
made of.
unreal, but I promise you, it is very real and very beautiful.
So now I do want to say if you are interested in booking your trip to beautiful Lookout Key at Lighthouse Point, I do hope that you contact our partners over at the Vacationeer. I have a link up on the screen there. They are total Disney cruise experts. They will help you. They will not cost you a penny more. They might actually save you more than a few pennies. And they can help you plan the perfect Disney cruise line trip to Lookout, to Castaway, to anywhere else. Europe, Asia, that's a thing that's coming very soon. Yeah, please give them a shout. And again, if you do want to know more about Disney Cruise Line, we have Disney Cruise specific content over on our at DCL Magazine Facebook and Instagram pages. We also have family matching cruise teas and other things in our shop. If you're looking for some cruise merch, puzzles, Castaway Key, a Lookout Key puzzle might be coming soon. If you want to see that, put a comment down below. And if you
enjoyed the shirt, we have other fun Disney designs, lots of great stuff on the merch.
And if you want to find out more about DC Magazine, the link is right there so that you can go join the wait list.
Thank you all for spending some time with us this evening. This has been a blast. If we didn't get to your question, we'll do our best to follow up in the comments. I hope you guys are excited about Lookout. We had a wonderful time. I can't wait to sail again.
We're planning our next trip already.
Yeah. Thank you so much for all your support. Don't forget to visit the website, pick up your copies of WDW and DLR Magazine, and hopefully soon DCL Magazine. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We had a great time.
Bye.